We are back, everybody, for night 2 of Breeders' Crown Eliminations. Last night we got to showcase the rookies in the elimination, and it was a really, really strong showing. And now we get to feature and preview the 3-year-olds and older. And it's going to be a busy Saturday night. We had 7 eliminations last night. We have 8 tonight to showcase. And back with me to preview all the action is Randy Waples, the Hall of Famer, my co-host as well. And it was a great opening night of eliminations. We really saw some clear standouts, and we saw some exceptional performances, didn't we?
You know how good it was? The rain didn't even bother us. Mm-hmm. That's how good that racing was last night. The rain did not even bother us, So a great, great night, and we're going to head into a great, great night tonight. What did you take from last night? It seems to me like we both kind of have a bit of a favorite going on there. I'm looking at the 2-year-old Colts. You're looking at the 2-year-old Phillies.
Yeah, I just love the way Lua Deepa's looked from start number 1. I love the way that she's raced, especially as of late. But hard not to love Bojangles, right? A local star here, a perfect 11 for 11. But again, I mean, we can get into it on another night. But I really do think Lua Deepa is the best 2-year-old in the sport.
Yeah, well, obviously you're wrong, but I'm not going to prove it just at this point.
Nope. All right. Well, maybe again.
I'm going to bring Doc Moore, and he's going to debate his horse with you.
I think Doc would agree with you. I think he would tend to agree with you.
I
think I've got the Burks on my side, I'd say. But you know what? Speaking of which, it was really fun to watch those two compete, obviously, and we're going to get a chance to see them in the final. And again, both are going to be really, really strong, obviously, in their respective divisions. But as we mentioned, we've got 8 eliminations here this evening. We've got a couple of or a few divisions going straight to a final, though, but we still got plenty of action to cover, Andy. And I mean, I'd love to sit back, sit here and talk about last night here for an extensive period of time. But we've got to get right into tonight's action because there's a lot to cover, and we've got some stars that are going to be in action here as well. So we're going to kick things off in race number 3, and this is going to be the first of 8 eliminations here for the Breeders' Crown. 3-year-old trotting fillies, and we've got a field of 9 going postward here with the 8-5 morning line favorite Delaney Hanover. This Lucas Wallen trainee, Randy, I mean, she couldn't be sharper at the right time. And look, she was sharp coming into that Hambletonian Oaks final. Just wasn't able to work out a pretty good trip, but she's coming into this elimination as clearly the one to beat.
Yeah, just go a little bit too far back in the Oaks and that speed that they were going. I mean, how do you make up that kind of ground when they go to the half in 55 and they come back half in 56 and change? So raced really good, but really racing very, very well now since she went down into Lexington. She had a win in the New Jersey Classic just before Lexington, and then reels off 2 more, both of them in 50. Like, what is it, John? Where are these horses, these young horses, find this kind of speed? I mean, it amazes me, So really, really on her game, and I think that's the replay we're going to see.
We are, and I believe she went barefoot in both of those starts as well, so she found a little bit more there in Lexington. But again, a filly that's got a lot of speed and a lot of talent, and we're going to look at her victory here in the Kentucky Filly Futurity. And look, Scott left aggressively with her 2 starts back from the 5-hole. She was able to slip up the inside in what was a dominant score. Inside draw to work with. She didn't get away as close as I thought, but we see this time and time again, Randy. With Scott Ziron, he just always seems to make the right decisions in these big races.
He does, and I mean, for the longest time here, you'd think that he was out of it, racing on this track when he was one of the leading drivers here, and he'd come from out of the clouds with something there and, just nail you right on the wire. So he's really good at timing horses, coming from last and hitting the wire. And honestly, I've been here a long time, and I think he got a lot of that from his dad. His dad was big on that. He'd sit last with a horse and just go right around the whole field.
I know she worked out a trip, but again, when Scotty angled her out at the head of the lane, she responded in a big, big way. I mean, this filly's showing some versatility. She's getting confident at the right time, and again, she's going to be tough to beat, but we saw some other fillies in that elimination as well that put forth some good efforts. Our Duchess will look at her later, as well as some other fillies, but I'm going to look to try and play the role of upsetter here. I really like this filly that Tron Smedhammer is going to be sending out in Walsby. She missed a month going into that overnight at Chester. She got the job done there, and she's got a good draw to work with, and she's going to pick up Doug McNair. I really think this is a very, very live drive here that Doug's picking up.
I agree with you. I got her in for 3rd. She should be coming into this race, very, very good. But my thing is, though, is that if Dougie races her according to the way that you and I think that he's going to race her, doesn't that more or less give a better trip to Delaney Hanover, the one that he has to beat? Because I got a feeling that you're looking at this the same as me, that Dougie is going to be going forward, leaving the gate.
I don't know what Scott is going to like to do off the card, because he can do so many different things with this filly. And you know what? In an elimination where the top 5, make the final, I mean, and the way she's been racing, I think Scott's got the confidence to do just about anything he wants with this filly. Look, I know she's going to be tough to beat, but I'm hoping maybe Doug can work out a pretty good trip, or maybe steal this race in itself. So I think she's a good try here in this spot, but there's no denying that Delaney Hanover is definitely the one to beat. We're going to move on to race number 4, and that's going to be the second Breeders' Crown elimination here. We're scratched down to a field of 7, Randy. How about this group that we're going to see go postward, right? We're going to see Madden Oaks and Prince Al Hanover goes toe-to-toe yet again. We've seen some memorable matchups between these two, a couple of them in Lexington, one that stands out in Meadowlands that ended in controversial fashion. But we can't deny how well these two colts are racing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Really, really racing good. Another stable star for Moore. I mean, he's got a great 2-year-old, and he's got a really nice 3-year-old with Prince Al Hanover. Todd McCarthy doing a really, really good job. Already $1 million on this guy's card, this year. So well done to Prince Al. Throwing him in for second. Myself, Madden Oaks. Interesting. Picking up Louis Waugh. Nothing against Braxton Boyd, because he's done a great job with this horse, but he is picking up a fresh set of eyes. And you know me, John, I'm big on that angle. And Cam Capone sending in a bridle change on Madden Oaks. They're going to take the Swedish off, and they're going to go with a set of blinkers.
Now, is that gonna help him stay a little bit more calm? Because he's a handful, this colt. He's got the speed, he's got the power, but he's a bit of a handful. And not only that, he has a tendency to hang quite a bit. So do you think that's going to keep him a little bit more focused and have him pace hard throughout the wire?
I would say no.
Okay.
Because the Swedish, you got 2 choices with the Swedish. Either you start in open, and then you pull the string and they come down to either blinkers or blind, or you start them as the blind and you pull the string and then they go to an open. So to me, if you wanted to keep them quiet, you could just race them with the open and then move them down to the blinkers. So I'm not really sure why they're doing what they're doing. But also, every time that a horse gets a blind bridle, 8 out of 10 times it's because they're trying to fire them up. But it doesn't always mean that way, because certain horses, if they go to an open bridle, which is really the most forgiving one, that's what gets them going. So maybe he just races better with a set of blinkers on. They tried the Swedish blinds. He hasn't won a race in a couple of starts, so they go back to the blinkers.
He hasn't won, but you can't knock the efforts. Again,
Great efforts. Let's see it.
Braxton has been a great pairing with this guy, but
who all do we see in this race?
They're electing to make a change. We're going to look at a bunch of colts here in this race, though, right? Prince Al Hanover, Madden Oaks.
Right.
Going to look at Fusion, as well as T.H. Colby. Maybe we'll get a look at this replay a couple of times, but on first look, you could see this throwdown. We're going to get approaching the 3/4, Randy, between Madden Oaks on the outside and Prince Al Hanover to the inside. Third quarter and 1:19-4. These two really hooked up. You could see Madden Oaks. I mean, he starts to open up. This was an awfully tough trip for him, and it looked like maybe he was going to, start separating himself, and then A, he went really fast, but B, again, he just has a tendency to really, really wait on them, and you could see he gets passed for third in this outing by Prince Al. I'm not sure if that was more so Prince Al fighting back or maybe Madden Oaks letting up just a bit. So, look, both colts in defeat raced huge, and they're going to come into this race off of quite a fitness test.
Yeah, I mean, really interesting why that horse would kind of give it up. I mean, how long? I mean, we only seen the last. How long was he first up? Long time.
Yeah, a long time.
Was he? Well, it was a tough trip then. But usually, I mean, when they get to that point, they're usually good to go. So
back-to-back weeks, though, where Braxton made aggressive, rushes at the pace setter, and he's raced well again both times. But they haven't been easy trips, but the colt really raced well. So I'm curious to see what kind of trip Louis is going to work out with this guy again. It's the first time he's going to get a chance to sit behind him as well.
Did you bring the Toronto phone book?
I did not bring the Toronto.
You didn't bring it?
Did not bring the phone book.
I don't know,
We're going to get a chance to see just how big this guy is yet again.
We just seen it there. Prince Al Hanover's a big horse, and this guy absolutely dwarfs him.
We're going to look at this replay one more time, though, because we're going to focus on a couple others in here. I wanted to focus on that, head-to-head tilt that at the 3/4 pole, between the horses to beat. But look at who's in the inside there. You could see third on the rail. You could see that Bartlett starting the gap here with a Pappy's Pistol. Behind him is Fusion and Dexter Dunn. And behind Dexter Dunn is T.H. Colby with Ron Burke training. Fusion raced really, really well, and he just got picked off. You could see puts in a couple of steps there, and he starts pacing again. And he makes this really close, Randy. I mean, if he doesn't put in those couple of steps there, he might be a winner. But look at T.H. Colby in between them right now with Ronnie Wren. I know some of the horses are getting tired up front, but these two colts, they had quite a bit of pace.
Yeah, they did on that there.
I'd have to say if he stays pacing throughout, he's a winner.
Yeah, I would put it more as a straight outright run
Yeah.
before I'd say he put in a couple of
Okay.
steps. Straight outright made a break. Why he made it, who knows? My guess, I think he had too much pace and no place to go. The horse got frustrated, and when he did seen that air, he tried to get into it too quick, just overpaced himself.
You can see his resume over the last couple of years. Again, 16 career starts, 9 victories. This is a well-bred horse, right? I mean, out of pure country. And he's really started to kind of, get better and better. Started off in that Goldenrod a couple of starts, worked his way to the Commonwealth, then the Bluegrass and the Tattersall. He continually, start after start, took on tougher company. I think he's coming to this race razor sharp. I think T.H. Colby's one that's worth a long shot consideration underneath. We talked about 4 colts in this race, but there's one in particular that you really like. You're going to the 8 horse, Sipping on Ciroc.
The horse is coming in here with amazingly good form right now. I mean, he's equaled his best winning time from last season at Lexington. He went 48-2. I mean, lots of times horses come back and they go a big effort as a 2-year-old, and they, for whatever reason, they're never able to really kind of equal that effort. Well, he's already got there. He's coming in here with a lot of wins. Now, the race at Dayton, he did a big chop on a 5/8 mile. He's at the half in 53-4, off of a quarter in 25-3, and then still at the 3/4 in 121 and change. Those are big boy fractions on a 5/8 mile track. Those are big boy fractions on a mile track, let alone on a 5/8. And I think he just got a little bit tired, but he's got the 8 hole to work with the scratch of fallout. That moves him down into the 7, and he's got a guy that is very aggressive kind of a driver. I'm not looking for Sipping on Ciroc to chop this, but I do think that Yannick is going to get him out of there, get him into a good position, and maybe cover it up. If he does have to chop, it's not going to bother me in the least.
And the 2 horses he got beat were stablemates, Swingtown and Harrisburg Heist, and Sipping on Ciroc added Lasix in that outing, in that narrow defeat. But Harrisburg Heist, he was racing on second-time Lasix, and he got the job done in upset fashion. If you watch his start prior, I believe it was at Hoosier Park, this was a colt who was absolutely loaded. We talk about the 2-year-old pacing crop that Burke's got on the colt side. He's got a pretty strong sophomore crop as well, and he's got the leader of the pack in Lupin. So Sipping on Ciroc, look, outside draw or not, he's going to be leaving out of there, and he's going to be a main contender here.
Yeah, and it's not really an outside one now. I mean, the 8 hole is not a big problem anyway, on this track. And now he's going to have the 7 hole right beside the post position that wins the most races at this track, the 6. So I think he's in a good spot. He's in tough. And the one, to me, I think he can cover them all. The one that's going to bother me a little bit is the horse that I got in on the bottom, and that's Fusion. And that's simply the biggest reason is because Pelling scares me. The longer a horse stays in his barn, the longer he has his hands on him, the better he's going to get, because he's just a wicked, wicked trainer.
And we talk about when horses start to build confidence again,
That's
racing against lower company than one he's going to take on here, especially the last few starts, just continuing to get better and better and better. So
he's dangerous.
This guy's coming in sharp at the right time, but I'm just so interested to watch this race because there's a lot of things that we're intrigued to see, from the driver change on Madden Oaks, to see how Louis fits him, and just how some of these colts step up or how some of them bounce back in a big, big way. This is a really good race.
Nice little tilt.
We're going to move on to race number 6. That's going to kick off. That's a mid-pick 5. We're going to see the other division here for the 3-year-old filly trotters. And we looked at a standout in that division, being Delaney Hanover. We're going to see the other standout here, Yo Tilly. This filly has been a star all season long. She's coming off her lone defeat, September 27th at Lexington. Still a really strong effort in defeat, one that we're going to highlight momentarily. But Andrew Harris has done a remarkable job with this filly.
He has, and I mean, it's just so nice to see that, Pollock and Ehrman and Andrew Harris, whatever, are, starting to have a really big year. They deserve it. The money that they've put into the game, I mean, it's just absolutely breathtaking. But then it looks like now they're starting to kind of build. And, if you look at a hockey team or any really sports team there, sometimes it takes a few years to build that into a franchise that you kind of want. Same with the stable that they're trying to put together. Obviously, they went deep with a lot of money trying to put this stable together. And I think that we're starting to see this really, really wicked stable that they're putting together. So Yo Tilly, the way that I'm going to go in here, and I mean, how many more times can our Duchess draw the 9 hole?
Yeah, just tough draw after tough draw. That's 3 consecutive weeks. And again, Andrew Harris, always has mentioned about the job that Verlin Yoder did, who broke this filly, who developed this filly from the start. The new connections were able to purchase her, and they've continued her success from what was a strong 2-year-old campaign, and was able to continue to build on that. We're going to show her recent defeat, though. It was still a good effort, despite getting beat. We're going to get a chance to see Delaney Hanover, who I mentioned got the job done here 2 starts back as well. First over try, though, Randy, but it's still a good effort.
Yeah, look at the body language on Zeron, though, down in the 2-hole, though. Yeah, big effort, I mean, that's it. If anybody that's raced at Lexington, not that any mile track is a short route around when you're first over, but for some reason, to me, Lexington, you just don't see as many first over winners, I find. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to grab you. Yeah, somebody's going to grab you on the end of it there. So when they can come with a big first over effort and last right till the end of it, not getting the job done, but still, being a big part of it, I think that's an incredibly big mile. So, she's coming in here, finishing second, first defeat that she's had to face, but that was a great effort. So I don't mind going back to her.
She lost, again, I know she lost the horse slipping up the inside. That was still a really strong effort by Yotilli. That was also a really strong effort, again, by Delaney Hanover. But Todd's done such a great job managing this filly as well, where she's just push button. She can do absolutely anything Todd asks her to do. And, she just does it seamlessly. So definitely going to be the one to beat. I went What a Bit Hanover's direction as a value player. I think she's got all the talent. If she can, pick up where she left off at the right time as a rookie. If you go back to watch that replay that we highlighted on Delaney Hanover, she was live on the end of it. And our Duchess was also live as well. But there's a filly from the middle of the gate that she also is coming off a narrow defeat in the Ontario Sire Stakes Super Final. And they supplemented this filly, Randy. Stormont Beautiful, ponied up some big cash to get her into this race. And why not? How sharp is she?
Oh, incredibly sharp. Absolutely. She deserves it.
Yep,
she deserves a chance at the best of the division. Maybe she's going to be because... whether she gets there or not, I don't know. But I would be very shocked to see anybody out kicking her.
Yep.
Boy, oh boy, she's got a kick. Let's go with Stormont Beautiful. This is the one that we're showing, John?
Yep.
Yeah, so beaten favorite in her last, but simply because, in my opinion, just a little bit too far away. Bob, unfortunately, he ended up, a lot of them left that put him in a bad spot. He wasn't able to get off the rail when he wanted to get off the rail. He had to kind of wait, take his time, and it just didn't work out. And James McDonald, while all this is going on, he's setting up with a perfect trip with Mona Lishi, and she's going to get the job done. Our top 2-year-old trotting filly of last year. But here comes Stormont Beautiful. I mean, just keeps eating up ground, and if that race keeps going, I got a feeling that Mona Lishi's going down to defeat. So I got Stormont Beautiful in for third. My biggest question mark with her is, in this, as deep as this bunch is, he can't afford to get too far back. He might have to stay on the outside.
And she's got gate speed, though. I mean, she likes racing a specific way. That doesn't mean she can't leave. She's left plenty of times. You can go back and watch her 2-year-old campaign. She had the 6-hole, left numerous times from there. She even left a few lines down when she did make that miscue. She's left from the 7-hole. Brett McDonald, I think, has gotten a chance to sit behind her last year a few times as well. So she's got the versatility. Maybe she doesn't have as much late when you use her early. But I think she's going to have every chance to make the final, at least, because her late kick is going to give her that chance.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's because of her style of racing, it's very, very rare for her to have an inside trip. This might be an opportune moment if he can get her away third or fourth, and Bobby's able to leave her on the pylons. Look out, because if you think that she's got a big kick, racing too wide, if she gets a pylon trip, watch what this kick develops in. I could see 25-3.
All right, Yotilli going to be the one that many of the public are going to go to in this spot. So I'm going to try a bit of an upset player there and What a Bit Hanover, but still a really nice group of sophomore trotting fillies going postward to kick off the mid-pick 5. We're going to move on to race number 7. We spoke about a couple of Ron Burke's 3-year-old pacing crop there, but we're going to look at the head of the class here. He's, arguably the best horse in racing as well right now. Is certainly number 1 on the Hambletonian Society Breeders' Crown Poll. And this guy right now is a perfect 10 for 10, Randy, our North America Cup champion, and he makes everything look effortless as well.
He does.
Yep.
Just really, really top quality kind of a horse. And the one to the inside of him, Swingtown, Talk about a lethal combination that Burke Brigade brings up for these two. You know, I mean, I got them down as the exactors, 6 on to 7. You?
I think I went to a Dandy Ideal in for second. I like the way this colt has been racing, and I think he just needed that start against older company to get himself
I went
acclimated.
6 on to 7.
You went 6 on to 7?
That's what I said.
Oh, no, you didn't. You tried to get me laughing. I'm too focused for that. But we're going to look at Lou Print's most recent victory. I was waiting for a potential, record mile here, and then when I saw 27 and 4 pop up, I said, all right, we're probably not going to get it. But you could hear Ronnie Wren after the race talk about, look, just want to keep the wins rolling.
Yeah.
No need to try and jeopardize, or aim for a record and maybe jeopardize the Colts' undefeated streak. This Colt is sharp. He's done it so easily. Just keep winning.
He doesn't need to go any faster than 150. Everybody knows what they're looking at.
Exactly.
He's just an incredible animal, And I don't blame Ronnie Burke, you know what I mean? He's looking at is, this unbelievable horse. He missed a little bit of time. He's back going again. He's probably hoping every race goes in 53, and that's as fast as he has to go with them. But, racing incredibly good. The last time that we seen him up here, North American Cup night, an unbelievable mile that night as well. So I find that it would be really, really difficult for anybody in here to knock this guy off. Now, that being said, I do think that there's a couple of horses in here that are going to come up with big races tonight. But even with their biggest effort, I don't see them knocking this guy off.
What did he pace? Last 3 quarters and 119 and change. I mean, remarkable.
How do you beat him?
Yeah, it's remarkable. I mean, this guy has shown it from a rookie, and he's carried that momentum here as a sophomore, despite a little bit of a hiccup, right? We had to miss a little bit of time, so he's going to be awfully tough to beat in here in this spot. But we previewed one local star that we have here who finished second in the super final. We're going to preview one from the far outside here in this spot that got it done in the super final in dominant fashion, and that's Crackshot. How good was he in that 48 and 2 mile, Randy? And I know Greg said that no plans for the Breeders' Crown. Co-owner Frank Brundle said, we'll see him next week. So I think there was a little bit of a disagreement or confusion there, but the Colt's going to race off a sharp effort, and why not?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I can see them going this route big time with this guy. You know what's going to be really interesting here? We can go with this, Jason. What's going to be real interesting with this horse is here's a horse, John. Last year as a 2-year-old did all of his racing in the grassroots. Win the grassroots final, then gets a shot to go to the super final, wins the super final. They bring him back this year, and obviously now he's a gold colt, but still wins the super final again and potentially has a chance to come up with a big effort and maybe even a win in the Breeders' Crown elimination. I mean, what a success story this little guy's been. I mean, look at the size of him. I mean, he's all heart.
Didn't you ask, was it you that asked Greg or Doug, is he a little bit of an overachiever?
Yeah. And Greg said, he said, he thinks, because he had the mother of this one, Beauty on the Beach, and he said he thinks that the mother just transferred her heart into this guy, because to me, that's what the biggest key is with this guy. You can see a lot of different horses, they have gait, they have speed, they have size, athleticism. It's not that he doesn't have that, but he doesn't have it in big doses. What he does have is a wicked will to win races.
Do you remember the NA Cup elimination? I know that Lou Print didn't win by a dominant fashion, whatever, but plugs were still in. Ronnie was still confident in the colt. Both Ronnies were. A lot of people were pegging Crackshot as the sleeper horse in that final. They really liked him. He was sharp in his elimination. So, I mean, this was a horse a few months ago that many thought could win the North America Cup and could play the role of upsetter in that $1 million final. So, he's sharp at the right time. I just don't love the post tonight. I
don't love the post, but I'm going to go right back to him real quickly before we move on from this, because this goes back to an interview you did with Greg McNair after the super final. We've seen what Crackshot is capable of, but his trainer comes out with Johnny after the super final and says, the thing with Crackshot is we were working on the wrong spot. We were working on the wrong spot. So this horse was winning races and maybe feeling a little bit of soreness. He's pinpointed the spot as being that knee, and now they've started to work on that knee. There's a pretty good chance that this horse is only going to improve from what he's doing now. And then if he's able to do that, we're looking at a whole different scenario here. So I just thought it was a good interview. We got great information, and you better keep that in mind. This horse should be getting better.
All right, still going to be awfully tough to beat Blueprint there, but an elimination we're excited to see. We're going to move on to race number 8. This is going to be the Breeders' Crown Elim for the Open Trotters, and 6-5 morning line favorite on Lexus Cody. And there's no arguing that right now he's the sharpest horse in the division. And I tell you what, Randy, he's taken a huge leap forward here as a 7-year-old, and right now Yannick can just do about anything with him, and he's really started to mature.
He has. Unreal.
And we're going to see the maturity as well.
What a year of Archangel that was.
Yep.
You know, we had Logan Park, you had this guy, there's another one in there as well, kind of escaping me right now, but what a year for Archangel with this guy and what this guy has turned his career into. And another thing, quick shout out there too, the other day we met the groom of Lexus Cody. Huge shout out to this individual because, well, you'll see. Take a look at Lexus Cody. This is going into his 18th start of the year, multiple times in the 50 to the 49 kind of a range, and just look at the way that this guy looks. I mean, unbelievable. Look at him coming here.
But before he got out, we were watching the race live in studio here. All I said to myself was, "Wow, I mean, he can't win. He was in a terrible spot, you know, obviously, and then look at him go, right? He gets out, finds a seam, and just look at him starting. He was always racing on the lead, Randy, when he was racing in some of those open trots, overnight races against at the Meadowlands. You know, when you're the best horse in the race, typically you're going to get the respect on the front end, and he's got the wheels to just, you know, go gate to wire, especially in a group like that. But Yannick always told me, he said, this horse is so much better off a helmet. He showed it in a big way in that effort at Dayton. So this guy, without a doubt, is sharp. He's going to be the one to beat here in this elimination. And we saw a big mile from him in the Maple Leaf Trot. But a couple other trotters here that I thought put forth some good efforts in Lexington. We've got a pair of Oka Svanstedt trainees, Randy. We're going to focus on Get a Wish as well as Up Your Deo. And both didn't, one finished 4th and one finished 6th. I thought these two efforts were pretty strong here. So Up Your Deo is going to be the 9 horse. We're not going to see him on screen. But Tim Tetrick's going to sit behind Get a Wish from the 6 horse there. That's his first pari-mutuel start since July 20th. But he made a couple of breaks before this start. And look at him go inside horses, Randy. I thought this guy had some trot.
Yeah, no. He does have some trot. And actually, you know, Oka, I'm not sure if he had a whole lot of choice in the way that he had to race his.
Yeah.
He's got the 9 hole. He had to come off of Lasix.
You could see him on the bottom there on the screen. He had lots of trot, too.
Lots of trot on the end of it, yeah. So now he's back on the Lasix program coming up here to Canada and got a great position for Oka's gate leave that he loves to do. And so I think that Up Your Deo, he could come up with a nice one. But I would caution, as much as I'm going with Lexus Cody, I think Private Access is sitting on an incredible effort tonight. This is the one that scares me of anybody.
You can't say that I maybe love to start in the overnight, but we know overnights leading up to, for example, a Breeders' Crown elimination. It's a good shot that Luke's going to have this guy cracking sharp tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised if he put forth a good effort. But we've got some local stars also, but they all draw outside here tonight. We're going to move on to race number 9, and we're going to get a chance to see some star pacing fillies here, some sophomore pacing fillies. We've got a field of 10 here, Randy, and the 2-horse Mickey and Minnie. She's coming off a qualifying try at the Meadowlands on October 9th, but we're also going to get a chance to see one of our favorites, Chantilly, but unfortunately for her, she draws the outside. We'll get to the matchup between them in this spot momentarily, but we want to highlight Mickey and Minnie's qualifier coming into this Breeders' Crown final. And I mean, Randy, this filly, we don't really need to say much more. I mean, she's pretty sharp.
She is, incredibly sharp, and not taking anything away from Looks Good in Lulu, but it just happens to be that she's able to get the job done against Mickey and Minnie the day that Mickey and Minnie's not on Lasix.
Yeah.
That kind of makes you wonder, how bad that she did need it. She did win the one time down in Lexington, not on the Lasix, but then the last one, or the 1 down from the qualifier, she did a chop there and wasn't able to last. Big third quarter, big second quarter in 26 seconds too. But yeah, she's the talk of the tape this year, John. And I mean, I'd love to sit there and say that the Chantilly that we're going to see tonight was the one that win that last gold.
Yep.
That's what I was hoping for. I liked her in the super final, but not as much as I liked her in that last
And we'll
gold.
look at her effort momentarily there, but look at the body language on this filly. She had the option of a bye. Chris Ryder elected to race her in the Breeders' Crown elimination, so I believe the last Martini's going to pick up that bye opportunity. But Chris wants to race her, get another start under her belt, and just have her sharp for next week. But she has a lot going for her in terms of not only the way she's raced, the post, and maybe or some other fillies in here drawing. I believe we're going to go to Chantilly next here in this spot. And We're gonna actually look at a couple of other fillies in here first. You mentioned one of them, Randy. Looks good in Lulu. We're gonna get a chance to see Unreasonable's victory in the Guernsey there at Lexington. Both fillies working out. Both fillies putting forth some pretty good efforts here.
Yeah, but looks good in Lulu. She was kind of against it,
Yes.
right? Had the 10 hole, took a huge long park. Just kept coming forward, but wasn't able to get to get the job done on Unreasonable. But still, an incredible effort.
Unreasonable. I mean, she's one of those fillies who was a little bit under the radar, racing really well. But the talk of the town was, Mickey and Minnie and Chantilly. Marcus Miller with a slick steer here was able to, find a way out. And look at this filly start to pace, but looks good in Lulu, as you mentioned. She just gets picked off.
Yeah.
And she went a lot tougher earlier on in the mile, and she's a wicked talented filly, and she's a full sister to Luadipa as well. So that dam has produced a couple of really quality horses in her first couple of foals. But let's take me through what you saw from Chantilly, because as you mentioned, you felt like she wasn't at her best on this given night.
I just didn't like her quite as much. I mean, the week before in the Gold, I mean, she was just overpowering, and you can see it last quarter in 25-4. I mean, she was completely wrapped up. Now, excuse me. Sometimes, James, she does play a little bit of possum, but every time before, whenever he'd ask her or whatever, she'd move away. Maybe even only be a couple of steps, but she'd move away from whoever was coming at her. She didn't move away, and he asked her 2 or 3 times, and at no point did she move away. And that bothers me because that's not her. And then she comes in here and she draws a bad post. There's only one on the outside of her. Everything else, she has to basically come to them, so she's at the disadvantage. So, maybe if she races good in this elimination, and if she comes back with a better draw in the final, she might be the one that I'm going with, because it just seems like every once in a while you get Chantilly. And then all of a sudden the next week, maybe she's not quite as good, So I'm putting her in for third here tonight.
I've got her in for fourth. I'm like you. I'll take a wait-and-see approach and see if she has a little bit more pop on the end of it tonight before I consider what I'm going to do with her in the final. But looking forward to seeing this race as well. We're going to move on to race number 10. And speaking to what I'm looking forward to, Irvin Hanover and Nijinsky draw the same elimination here for the open pace. And Louis Waugh had some decision-making to go to, right? Irvin Hanover's been a star, and Louis Waugh has done some great things with him this year. Nijinsky had a couple of starts since a little bit of a hiatus. And that last effort, though, Randy, I think that's what ultimately gave Louis the confidence to go to the Tony Beaton training here. A 47-4 mile in the open pace at Mohawk. I'd say he's back.
Yeah, he's flying again. That's the big thing with this guy, is it's almost like he tells you when he's at his best, because he's got this unique gait there that all 4 feet come straight up off the ground. He's got an incredible fold. Like he brings everything right up. And when he's doing that and he's moving so quickly, it just almost seems like he's kind of flying sometimes. So when I think that he's flying, he usually comes up with a pretty big effort. I did not use him up on top on that first start back. I went with Calico Jack Hanover. The next start back, I did use him. He had a start underneath his belt. I thought he was good to go. But the big thing is since he's come back from these qualifiers, the time off, in my opinion, he's flying again.
And we're going to get a chance to see this effort. What we did see from this replay when we're going to cue it up is what you mentioned. He bull rushed to the lead, didn't he? When Calico Jack Hanover touched down, and he knows how sharp that horse is right now. And Louis bull rushed him. Great drive. He bull rushed him, and I mean, he just absolutely put the field in the dust, right? I mean, this was a dominant performance, and he still looked like he had plenty left to me, Randy.
Yeah, see, this is the part with me. Like, I mean, this horse in behind him, Callie, he's a beautiful gaited horse, everything about him, but this guy here, he paces like Bobby Orr skates, if that's a way to put it. Like, I just can't describe how fluid his gait is, and the big fold and everything. It just almost seems like where another horse is able to spring and maybe pick up, 12 or 13 or 14 feet. This guy, when he springs, it's like he's picking up 18 feet or something. Yep. It's almost like, Michael Jordan flying through the air with a going to do a slam dunk or something. Air Jordan, Air Nijinsky.
We're going to skip the replay on Irvin Hanover, though. He's coming off a pretty good qualifying try. But, I mean, if you're Dave Maneri, you lose Louis Waugh, who's gotten along exceptionally well with him, and you get to pick up Dexter Dunn. It's not a bad replacement to have whatsoever. So, that's going to be a nice head-to-head tilt there between Irvin Hanover and Nijinsky. We've also got Captain Albano, who is racing pretty sharp as well. We're going to go to race number 11. This is the other open pace elimination here. And we've got Maximus Mickey and Ken Hanover, the first and second choice on the morning line, drawing really, really well. And when we saw Maximus Mickey here, Randy, in the Canadian Pacing Derby, how good was he?
Oh, huge. Yeah. Huge. And again, you're getting Scotty Zier on, you know what I mean? He just seems like he's, for whatever reason there, he goes into these, big events, big money races or whatever, and he always makes the right kind of call. So Maximus Mickey's the way that I'm going to go. Going to follow him up with a local favorite. I think Bobby McClure's picking himself up a pretty nice little horse here in Calico Jack Hanover. And the biggest reason that you would have to think that this is what's going on is Luke is looking for somebody to commit in case this horse makes the final. What would be worse if you get into the final with Calico Jack Hanover? Now you got to go looking for a driver. He's got a guy now.
A guy he's familiar with as well and has had plenty of success with. We're going to look at Ken Hanover's replay. This guy's coming off a sharp effort in Lexington. Captain Albano was the overwhelming choice here in this spot, and I thought Ken Hanover's try 2 starts back was sneaky good, and I thought he was indicating that he was sitting on a good effort. A first over try here, he was able to pace away from the rest of the field. And Randy, it's funny when we look at some of these divisions, especially the open pace, we've seen different horses kind of take the reins as the leader of the division. Earlier on, it's one horse. Later on, it's another, and we continue to see different ones. At one point, Ken Hanover was the top-aged pacer, earlier on this season, and nice to see him pick up a big victory here at, again, it couldn't have come at a better time.
No, and I mean, a really, really good first-over victory. Like you said, when they can come first over at the Red Mile and last, they've come a big, big race.
All right, so we're going to go look at Maximus Mickey's qualifier here at the Meadowlands as he gears up for this Breeders' Crown elimination. A horse who really stepped up, Randy, in a big, big way this year, and was racing some talented horses last year, but this year he's racing against the best, and he's holding his own. And this is a qualifying effort here, and you're going to see it's Ruthless Hanover, Maximus Mickey, and Oakwood Arden. 2 of those horses we're going to see in the other elimination, but look at this effort by Maximus Mickey with Scott Zier on board, and just staying up the inside, was able to slip through late, but I thought this guy qualified well.
Yeah, it doesn't get the job done, but I mean, like you said, Ruthless Hanover. I mean, he's no slouch. No slouch there, but of all of them right here at this point, to me, the one that has the most wheels is Maximus Mickey, and I don't think that Scotty Z was going to the bottom of the Xeron well for him either. So I think Maximus Mickey's going to come into here very, very sharp and ready to go. He probably needed that little bit of a break.
All right, so we covered a lot here this pre-show, Randy, and we're going to wrap things up and come back in a bit to recap the entire 13-race program. But for now, we're going to kick things off with the national anthem.
That's right, guys, as we direct everybody's attention to the winner's circle here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, as we are proud to welcome Olivia Padfield to Mohawk for the singing of the national anthems. Olivia is a talented 12-year-old performer, currently starring as Audrey in the Stratford Festival's production of Annie, where she also proudly serves as the understudy for the title role. A passionate and dedicated artist, Olivia began playing piano at the age of 2 and has since expanded her musical talents to include violin, voice, and dance. She is a proud member of the Cambridge Youth Orchestra, where she plays violin, and is also part of Pop Nation Canada, showcasing her versatility across genres and styles. Olivia has received numerous awards for her vocal performances, bringing a dynamic presence to every stage she graces. She is thrilled to be performing the Star-Spangled Banner and the Canadian National Anthem for you this evening. Take it away, Olivia.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native hatred, love, in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Let's hear it for Olivia. Great job as she ushers in our Breeders' Crown Night 2 of eliminations, coming your way in just over 10 minutes.